Hey everyone, it's the King Waffle here, back in with another video. And in this video, we're going to be doing, it's another Blender tutorial. And I'm going to be showing you what pretty much most of the keys on your Blender, on your keyboard will do in Blender. And in each mode, so in edit mode and object mode. So, oops. Nothing happened. I actually did move to Blender 2.9 from Blender 2.83. So, and so the navigation is the same, still scroll, zoom in, zoom out, whoops. Shift, mouse, all that good stuff. You still use this little thingy up here to change modes. These things are still all the same. This timeline, everything is the same with making new windows and putting windows back together. It's the same. Everything that we learned in the last video is exactly the same in this version of Blender Blender 2.9. So, anyways, we are going to get into today's video. So, I am on a QWERTY keyboard, so we're going to start off with Q. Q, quick favorites. No menu items found. Right click on buttons to add them to this menu. So pretty much what that means is if I right click on this object button, I can hit add to quick favorites. And now if I go to quick favorites, I can now easily access this little object tab up here and do whatever I need to do. Okay, now W, that will just switch the way you select. So, like, let's go into edit mode and let's subdivide this a couple times. If we hit W, oops, I hit Q. If we hit W and we click away from this, this is our circle select. So when we hold down and drag, we're going to select everything the circle is hovering over when we're clicked down. Okay, and now we can, and there's a bunch of them, like there's select lasso, which pretty much you just make it's really weird. But anyways, then there's also, you can, whatever you're, like, closest to, it'll select it and you can move it. Just like this, which is pretty cool. And then, oops, I keep hitting, and then we'll go back to our box select, which anything inside this will be selected, which is pretty cool. But anyways, that's W. Then, W, it can be used in either edit mode or object mode. So, like, I can, because like if I have like multiple objects like this, then I haven't installed screencast keys yet. Hold on. Pardon me 1 moment. Let me install the screencast keys. Okay, so I have my screencast keys now turned on. Just making sure that was on. So anyways, as I was saying, W in object mode. You can use W in object mode. So if you like have multiple objects, and let's say you want to select them with a square select, you can select all of them. You change this to the circle select. Whatever we go over will get selected. And again, we can do the lasso select. Just like that. And it'll select all this, or everything that was in it. Just like that. And then there's also this select where you can just select something and then drag it, and then select something else and then drag it, just like that, which is pretty cool. What did I just do? Oh, that's what I did. Let's unsubdivide this cube because it's not very fun to have a subdivide. Oh, okay, so I guess we can't unsubdivide it then. Okay, then let's just add a new cube. We're going to go over all of this, everything that I'm doing in a future video. So, onto E. E doesn't do anything in object mode. In edit mode, however, it can create a duplicate, and it automatically moves it. But like, let's say that we want to just want to extrude one face. E is for extrude. So if I hit E when I have one face selected, then only that face gets extruded, and we're gonna have a taller mesh or object or cube or whatever you want to call it. But then the thing is, there's a line down here that marks where the cube used to be. So that's pretty cool. And the same works for edges and vertices or vertex, whatever you want to go. Wrong button. So like, let's say I want to do this, and then 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 I can select this, and then I can fill that in, and then I can select all of these and then fill those in, and then we get this one big thing. That's what I use the extrude vertices for, which is pretty nifty tip to have, or tool to have. And yeah, okay, moving on. R is rotation. It's the exact same thing in both modes. So like, we can't really rotate a vertice, but if we select an edge, we can rotate it, and that just makes a funky shape. Same thing with the face. We can rotate it, and it makes a funky shape, which is interesting. Moving on, T, that hides, this is this little toolbar. Same thing in edit mode. T, that's this toolbar here. Y doesn't seem to do anything. Oh, wait. Wait, what? What does Y do? Wait, no. Edit mode. Y. Yeah, no, Y doesn't do anything. Moving on. U, that will bring up your UV mapping. So you can unwrap, live unwrap, smart UV, all that UV stuff that we'll get into a later video, which honestly, I don't even know what this stuff does. Same thing in object mode. Oh wait, no, I guess it doesn't happen in object mode. If you're in object mode, you can insert a keyframe. This is for animation. We'll get to that later. In edit mode, I will inset face, but since we don't have anything selected, it just stops. So if we select something like a face, and then we inset it, you can see that the face becomes smaller, and then you can see that that we have these little like borders around it, and so then you can just like move around the face, and those little borders will come with it, which is pretty cool. And then we can just Control Z to undo it. Control C just goes back to what you did before. If you didn't know that, I'm pretty sure that's common knowledge, but if you didn't know that, then you didn't know that, and I'm not blaming it on you because someone didn't teach you. Anyways, O enables proportional editing. Don't know what O has to do with proportional editing, but anyways, turn that off. P, it only works in edit mode. So P just separates something into a different object. So if I hit P by selection, this top is now its own object. So as you can see in the outliner up here, we have cube 001, which is our top plane, and then we have cube, which is our normal cube. We can just change that back into one object. And we are done with QWERTY UI op. Good job, guys. All right, let's move on to ASDFGHJKL. Why don't we do that? Okay, so A is to select everything. Tab for edit mode, same thing, except in edit mode, when we hit A, it'll only select for that object. So if we just select the cube and we hit A, you will see that these aren't selected because we're in edit mode. And so if you select one object and you hit tab into edit mode, then you can only select things that are in the objects that you are currently selected. So I try to select the light, it doesn't work. I try to select the camera, it doesn't work. But if I go to object mode, it does work. You can see that. And now we're gonna go to S. S is for scaling. So just pretty much resizing. It works the same way in edit mode as object mode. Oh, and I don't know if I told you this yet, but if you do anything and you right click, it'll just cancel that, which is pretty cool. But if you're like, for example, extruding, and you right click, that extrude is still there. So you'll see if I try to move this face, and then we can zoom in here, we can see that there is still a face there. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. What? Wait, hold on. Wait, what? If I extrude, right click. Oh, I guess they fixed that in Blender 2.9. So there was a bug in Blender 2.8 where if you would right click after an extrusion, it would double the faces. I guess they fixed that in 2.9. Which is I like that. I like that. Okay, anyways, moving on. So D. D is for duplicate. Except it doesn't do anything unless you hit Shift D. And then it just duplicates it. And that's what Shift D does. And I should probably tell you what all the other shifts do. Shift Q does nothing. Shift W does the same thing as regular W. Oh wait, no it doesn't. Aha. This is something I didn't know. You can bend something. That is actually pretty cool. I did not know that. Well, see, I am learning things too here. Shift E is crease. I don't know what a crease does, but okay. Shift R does nothing. Shift T does nothing. Shift Y does nothing. Shift U does nothing. Shift I does nothing. Shift O. Now this is where the fun stuff comes. So you know we did proportional editing? So you can pretty much like just do sorry, I'm just trying to think. Oh, I haven't even told you what proportional editing is. I should probably do that. Okay, so let's say we subdivide this a bunch of times. And then we select one of these. And then we hit O for proportional editing. And then we can go ahead and hit G to move, which we were going to do next. But, well, actually we were going to do F. But I'm just going to skip to G and then we'll do F after. G is to move things, if you hadn't seen. And if you do G, you can do X, Y. You can, after that, you can click X, you can click Y, or you can click Z, and it will lock it, and it will only move it along those axes. So if I hit G, Z, then it'll move up, but only it'll move straight up, because Z is the up and down axis. So it will move straight up. And now, proportional editing, that pretty much just drags everything around it up with you. But if you're doing G, you can scroll with your mouse wheel, and it'll only affect what's inside of that little circle. So if I hit Z, now it only affects, now there's a big hole in here, which is really cool. So that's proportional editing. And so if I do Shift O, I can select sharp, and we can see now, if we make it bigger, and we lock it along the Z, it'll sharpen. It'll make it a bit like sharp, like it'll kind of point, make it point a little more. But if we did, for example, smooth, like we were doing before, it's a lot more rounded on the top than if we did sharp, which is. But then there are a bunch of other ones that you can play around with. We're not going to do that right now because I don't really feel like it. We can do one more. This is inverse square, and wow, whoa, wait, that's cool. I like that. I like that. I like that. It's nice. But anyways, let's move on. So we just skipped over to G. Wait. Oh, wait. Shift P does nothing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Shift P does nothing. Shift A is how you can add an object. But if you're in object mode, you can add any of these. If you're in edit mode and selected one object and you hit Shift A, then you can only add a mesh. You cannot add a light into one object because lights are separate objects and cameras are separate objects. So I could add any of these, and but only all of these are meshes. So that's that. Shift S is you can wait, hold on. I'm not really sure what that. Okay, so this is snapping your selection. So if I go ahead and I go and I do selection to active, or wait, Shift S, selection to active. I don't know the Shift S thing. I used to know it, but I don't anymore. So Shift D will duplicate, which is what we were on. And now we have F. So, okay, so let's just go into edit mode and let's select all of these. So now would probably be a good time to teach you about the numpad. So if you have a numpad, then you can, if you press numpad 1, it'll take you to the front. It'll hit you dead on the front of your mesh. And then if you do numpad 3, it'll do to the side. And if you do numpad 7, it'll do the top. So right now we're going to do the top, and we're going to select just the top. And so you see nothing else is selected right now. Go back to numpad 7. We're going to hit delete faces. So now there's no roof on here. But if we use edge select, and also we have, these are how I'm switching between them. So there's vertice select, there's edge select, there's face select. And another way to do this is you can use your, not the numpad, but the number like row that's above your QWERTY. You can use 1, as you can see up here, it switches to vertice. 2 switches to edge, and then 3 switches to face. So, ooh, hold on. Wait, let me delete all these vertices because I subdivided that one too many times. Anyways, now all we have is this. So, what we're going to do is we're going to delete this because I screwed up on that. Okay, anyways, we're going to use face select, and we're going to delete this face. But now if I use edge select and I select these edges, oh wait, no, wait, that's not a good idea. Just select these edges with shift click. Oops, wrong edge. And now we can go ahead, and if we hit F, then it fills it in. Ready? See, F, it fills it in. Now, Shift F does nothing. So just F. And then Shift G. Okay. What? Okay. I don't know what this is. But anyways. Yeah. Oh my god, what did I do? Ah. So we're not going to get into the controls right now, like the Control S or Control D or Control F or all that stuff. We're just going to do shifts and normal. So we're on H now. H is to hide something. So like make it hidden from view. So if we if we do Alt H, it'll unhide it. J just so let's say I go ahead and I use my vertices select, and I go ahead and I subdivide this, and then I subdivide this, and then I select these two, and then if I hit J, it'll add a vertice in between them. Now there's a harder way to do this. You can hit K, which is our next one, for knife, and then you can select this vertice, select this vertice, and then hit enter, and that'll also add a edge there. You can just delete those subdivisions. And then in object mode, you can't use K, you can't use J, you can't use, you can use H, you can definitely use H. You can definitely use G, you cannot use F. You can not, D, and you can use, okay, so we already did D, we already did S, and we already did A. Okay, so we are now on to L. L does nothing. Edit mode, L. Select linked. So L, if you do Shift L, it'll do the same thing, select linked. But, so pretty much it'll just select the whole thing. So if I go ahead and I add a cylinder, it's still in the same object, but it is, what? Oh, because we're using proportional editing. Forgot to turn that off. If we take the cylinder, we move it over here. If we hit, so these are both in the same object, but if we hit L on the cube, then it'll just select the cube. But if we hit L on the cylinder, come on, cylinder, there we go. If we hit L on the cylinder, then it'll select the whole cylinder, which is pretty cool. Now we're moving on to Z. Z is you can change between what you're looking at. So if I go to, so right now we're in solid. If we go over and head to rendered, that's what you're gonna see once you render your that's what you're gonna see when you render your image or animation. Okay, now we're gonna do, and then wireframe is you can see through the object and you only see vertices, edges, and edges. You don't see faces, just vertices and edges. Material preview is you can see the materials with full light on them, because rendered you need to add lights to make them, you need to add lights to make them look like it's actually like has light on it, or else you won't be able to see the color. But then, but the material preview, you don't need light. It'll just do the light automatically for you. And then we're back to solid. And you can see these little numbers here. If you do Z4, it'll do wireframe. If you do Z6, it'll do solid. If you do Z8, it'll do rendered. And Z2 will do material preview. Okay. So now we have X. X is deletion. Deletion. That sounded like I don't think that's a word. But anyways, X is deleting things. Works same thing in object mode and edit mode, except in edit mode, you have to select, you want to delete the vertices, you want to select the edges, delete the edges, or delete the faces, or you want to only edges and faces, or only faces. You can also dissolve. I don't know what this stuff does. I know what this stuff does. I know what these three do. I don't know what this stuff does, and I know what these three do. That's all I know. All I can tell you. C. Does C do anything? C. Oh, C, I'm guessing, does the, is the circle thing automatically. I don't know. What the? Okay. And then you just right-click to get out of it, I guess. I honestly don't know what C does. Huh. That's weird. I don't know what that is, what it's called. V. I guess ripping faces? V. Cannot rip selected faces. V? Okay, I don't know what V does. B. Oh, we have to do shifts. Shift Z. Oh, that's to turn on X-ray. Let's go out with bang, 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 bang. Oh, Shift Z changes it to wireframe and turns on X-ray. So that's pretty cool. So if we were to just change it to X-ray, but no wireframe, we'd stay in material preview. Let's go back to solid. Okay, Shift Z, Shift Z. Let's go back to solid and let's turn off X-ray. Okay. So now, what we can do? Okay, so now Shift X. Oh, we have to select something. Shift X does nothing. Shift C. That will reset where the cursor is. So if I go ahead and hit Shift spacebar, spacebar, I can go ahead and take this cursor here. But if I hit Shift, I can talk. If I hit Shift Z, C, then it'll reset the cursor to the middle of these X and Y axes. So Shift V will vertex slide apparently. This looks fun. I'm probably going to have some fun with this. I did not actually know that would do that. Anyways, we have Shift B. What does that do? Okay, anyways. I'm going to show you Control B right now because that's a little more, you know, like Control B is a little more it's like a thing you're gonna use. The other things aren't really things you're gonna use, but this is for modeling. So Control B will bevel it. So it'll pretty much make it round. You can change how round it is in this little tab right here. This is called the editor. So I can just change the segments. If I can change this to 10, for example, you can see it changes this to a lot rounder. If I change it to, oops, wrong thing, 50, it'll be a lot rounder. And 100, probably gonna crash my computer. Or not. I have a really good computer, apparently. Anyways, undo that bevel. We're almost done. We have 2 letters left. N will bring up our norms. We're gonna call that our norms. Those are our norms. We can do item, tool, view. So like whatever tool we have, what we have selected here. This is a move tool. Wow, bang. That is that. You have the move tool, and it'll just pop these things up. But you can also see over here what happens up here. So we also have M. M is the last one, which pretty much just adds a collection. Or you can move this to a collection. Did I do N in... Oh, M does the same thing in object mode than in edit mode. Control B is different in object mode than edit mode. So, yeah. And we're done. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from this. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye-bye.